Hello, people of the world. Today, I address not only my supporters but anyone seeking truth amidst the layers of deception that plague our reality. This video is a response to an individual who embodies the very essence of manipulation and intellectual dishonesty, 𝐤𝐘𝐿. Recently, 𝐤𝐘𝐿, in a feeble attempt to defend himself, produced a video on his channel. In it, he displayed my comments and referenced a few videos I've created that expose his deceptive practices. Predictably, his response was riddled with mockery, evasion, and empty rhetoric. It was a desperate move, intended not to address the truths I've presented, but to distract his audience and maintain the illusion he's worked so hard to construct. Let's be clear, this is not a personal vendetta. This is about uncovering lies, dismantling misinformation, and bringing clarity to those willing to see it. 𝐤𝐘𝐿's video is a textbook example of how manipulators operate. Divert attention from the facts, discredit the messenger, and build strawmen to avoid engaging with the actual arguments. To the people watching, I urge you to listen closely as I unravel his fabrications. What you are witnessing in his video is not the behavior of someone defending the truth. It is the thrashing of a man whose facade is cracking under the weight of reality. Now let us take a closer look at what 𝐤𝐘𝐿 had to say.
Let's go and check out some of his content. Why not? Let's head on over there. So let's see. We're gonna give him a little bit of shine over here, and he's got 6 videos, 7 subscribers, and in case you guys are interested in the content, let me share it with you guys on the chat. So I just want to be fair.
Let me make something abundantly clear, 𝐤𝐘𝐿. I do not seek fame, recognition, or support from anyone. I do not crave the limelight, nor do I need the approval or affection of a crowd to validate my actions. My purpose is rooted in truth and exposing deception, not in gathering followers or indulging in shallow applause. You act as though showcasing my words to your audience is some kind of favor, as if you're offering me a platform I've been yearning for. Let me disabuse you of that notion. Your attempt to twist this into a display of your supposed magnanimity is laughable. I don't need your audience's attention, nor do I care for it. My words stand on their own merit, unshaken by the cheap theatrics you employ. Understand this. I speak because it needs to be said, not because I seek validation. If you think presenting my arguments to your followers undermines me, you've fundamentally misunderstood the situation. My words, unfiltered and unapologetic, will resonate with those who seek clarity, regardless of the platform or audience. So, don't flatter yourself into believing you've done me a service by displaying my comments or videos. Your actions are self-serving, meant to distract from your inability to counter my points with anything substantial. It is not I who benefits from this, 𝐤𝐘𝐿. It is the truth that gains strength every time you reveal your desperate attempts to suppress it.
Because he came on, and then so let's take a look at one of the older videos that he made.
This message is for 𝐤𝐘𝐿 and the 𝐔𝐻𝑒tic so-called warrior. It's almost amusing, isn't it, watching you scramble to distance yourselves from the very shill agents you've allied with all along. Now, suddenly, you're claiming you want nothing to do with them. Right on cue, as soon as you were called out. And yes, that includes your so-called 𝐔𝐻𝑒tic warrior. Z can continue acting like Dave's position is somehow salvageable, but we both know the truth, it isn't. This little performance of yours, pretending to be lone wolves feigning independence, is as transparent as it is desperate. You insist on hammering in stationary flat Earth over and over, yet here you are doing the exact same thing with this rising Earth narrative, a narrative that holds no ground, no demonstrable evidence. You have deceived far too many people already. And while it may work on some, those with true discernment can see straight through it. You should be ashamed. Frankly, it's difficult to even look at or listen to you because there's no honesty in it. Just an act, a masquerade built on deception. It's glaringly obvious, and those who genuinely understand the issues can cut through the facade. I hope they'll alert others who might still be fooled, because the time for tolerating this dishonesty has long passed.
That was really cringe. Oh my god, that robotic voice that's barely discernible, and no points made. Like all this guy was basically saying is like, "Oh, you guys are deceiving people." Okay.
Listen to me very carefully, 𝐤𝐿𝐴. You are entitled to your opinion, as I am to mine. But when you reduce yourself to calling my video cringe, it's nothing more than the voice of your fragile ego desperately clinging to its defense mechanism. It's the inner child in you, lashing out in an attempt to mask your inability to confront the substance of my arguments. The words I chose were deliberate, crafted with precision and purpose. They were structured to cut through the noise and deliver the truth efficiently and without compromise. If you find them unsettling, that is a reflection of your own discomfort when faced with a reality you cannot refute. As for my use of a voice modulator, let me spell it out for you. I've made it abundantly clear why it is necessary. The modulation and layering are not for aesthetics or to please your ears. They are there to ensure my identity remains protected. And don't insult my intelligence or your own by pretending you can't understand the words. You hear them clearly, you simply refuse to admit it. There are valid, documented reasons why I choose to remain anonymous. We have seen shill actors like you, or those you defend, stoop to vile tactics. False reports to authorities, harassment campaigns, and the circulation of inappropriate material to discredit and silence others. This is not paranoia, it is fact. And because of this, I take every precaution necessary when dealing with people like you. Calling these precautions cowardly is yet another attempt at deflection, one that lacks any weight or merit. Protecting oneself in the face of malicious actors is not weakness, it is wisdom. You've proven through your actions and associations that you cannot be trusted, which only reinforces my resolve. So let's put this to rest. My voice is perfectly discernible. You hear it, you understand it, and your complaints are nothing more than childish whining meant to distract from your lack of counter-arguments. Get over the voice and move on. Grow up.
You guys, you are okay to have that opinion. People can have that opinion or whatever, but then tell me how I am deceiving people. Oh, I'm talking about the upward vector and compared to what? The downward acceleration that has never been proven to anybody, while the upward vector has demonstrations and experimentations one after another over and over again. So
𝐤𝐿𝐴, let's get one thing perfectly clear. There is no demonstration, no experiment, no shred of evidence that proves the Earth is rising upward. None. You may repeatedly claim otherwise, but repetition does not equal truth. Your assertions are baseless, and your so-called demonstrations collapse under scrutiny. Your primary point, the idea that no downward acceleration is proven as a means to discredit opposing arguments, is not only flawed, but entirely irrelevant. I have addressed this in my videos and comments numerous times, and I won't waste time repeating myself here. If you truly listened, you would know your argument doesn't hold water. What's worse is that I don't believe even you accept the nonsense you're promoting. You don't seem to understand your own claims or how your supposed paradigm would function if it were true. Your inability to articulate a cohesive argument exposes your lack of understanding. And more importantly, it reveals your agenda, to push lies as truth, knowingly or otherwise. You should be ashamed of yourself for this. Whether out of ignorance or deliberate manipulation, you are misleading others, leading them away from reason and into confusion. This is why I'm here, 𝐤𝐿𝐴. This is why I'm exposing you. The public deserves to be warned about individuals like you, people who peddle fiction as fact, while failing to grasp the very ideas they claim to represent. The concept of a rising Earth is not proven. It is not science. It is a lie. And you are at the center of spreading it, which only serves to show your true colors as a shill pushing deception.
Okay. Let's take a look at another video. Let's see here. I don't want to watch this one. Let's playing with fire. Yes. Let's take a look at this one.
And our society at large. This is not a matter of
This freaking horrible
ladies
voice.
and gentlemen. Still complaining about the voice? Look at you, 𝐤𝐿𝐴, squirming in your chair, getting so bent out of shape over the voice I've specifically chosen. It's honestly pathetic. You've made it abundantly clear how much it bothers you, and frankly, it's hilarious to watch. Let me spell it out for you. I will not change it. I will not cater to your petty complaints or give you anything you crave, want, or desire. The voice serves a purpose, and your obsession with it only highlights how desperate you are to avoid addressing the real issues. Move on. People of this world, lend me your ears and minds and listen closely. We are at a precipice, a point where deception and truth stand in stark opposition. There are implications affecting the lives of each one of us, our children, and our society at large. This is not a matter of curiosity, not merely fodder for intellectual debate. It is a matter.
I'm gonna put the closed caption on because like this guy is like barely discernible of what he's saying.
You can hear exactly what I am saying perfectly fine. Stop pretending otherwise.
That's what it sounds like.
That reaches into the core of our reality, and yet so many live without a true understanding of it. The internet, once hailed as a tool for knowledge and connection, has become a breeding ground for misinformation. There exists a network of individuals who, with calculated intent, present themselves as allies to truth, champions of equality, and beacons of reason. Their motives are anything but pure. They are agents in a game far more insidious, a web of lies deliberately spun to confuse.
I mean, like, it's pretty decent choice of words. I mean, like, game far more insidious, a web of lies deliberately spun to confuse, control,
And ultimately distort the perception of those
ultimately distort the perception
who
of
seek
those.
understanding. So, 𝐤𝐤𝐿, you complimented my vocabulary. While I won't thank you, let me remind you of something fundamental. Words have meaning. Yes, 𝐤𝐤𝐿, words are tools, and their power lies in using them as they were intended. This is something you might want to consider before twisting them into nonsense to suit your agenda.
Okay, I mean, like, this is what the elites are doing to people, and I mean, like this is kind of like what I would say about like what the fuck is happening to the general public with the whole globe.
𝐤𝐤𝐿, you are correct about one thing. The elites of this world, the faceless, nameless entities pulling the strings, are masters of deception. They work tirelessly to divide, mislead, and keep humanity disconnected from the truth, driven by an agenda rooted in pure evil. But don't think for a moment that this absolves you. You are one of their puppets, a willing participant in their game, spreading their lies and doing their bidding. You may not sit at their table, but you serve their purpose. Understand this. You will not get far. The truth always finds its way through, and no amount of deception, no matter how carefully orchestrated, will stand against it. Your role in this charade is noted, and your time as a puppet is limited.
And the stationary flurf Earth, but he is applying all that to me, and he has the right to have that opinion. But again, I invited this guy several times, like, okay, come on to my panel, let's have a conversation. And then he says something to the effect that I'm not going to play that game with you or something like that, and I'm like, well, you don't. I told him like you don't even need to show your face. I don't care to see your face. I want to hear your voice. You can use a voice. I don't know, hiding technology, voiceover technology, or whatever. Like I don't need to, but just don't make it into this horrible robotic voice. Like turn it into a Scottish lady. I think I would like to hear a Scottish lady's voice. He's like the paladin of the internet space, with unwavering resolve. He's watching. He's watching right now. He's watching every single one of you guys.
Mock me all you want, 𝐤𝐤𝐿. Call me the watcher of the internet if it helps you sleep at night. But let's not pretend your mockery is anything other than a weak attempt to dodge the truth. This is nothing more than your own insecurities bubbling to the surface because you know exactly what you're doing. You know you're lying. You know you're deceiving. And let me make this clear, I'm not watching everyone. My focus is entirely on exposing people like you, those who twist reality, spread misinformation, and knowingly lead others astray. Your deflection doesn't change that. Stay uncomfortable, because I'm not stopping.
And he's going to keep you guys in line. So you better come correct. And obviously I'm accountable for the things that I have said, and me being a mastermind of deception, that I am. My words and actions have already betrayed me, and so I no longer want to scramble your brains, you guys. So I'm going to come clean and tell you guys that I guess I'm just going to have to go back to the globe.
On your ridiculous globe comment. Why on earth would you say something so utterly ridiculous, 𝐤𝐤𝐿? Going back to the globe? That comment had nothing to do with the conversation and everything to do with you attempting, poorly, to crack a joke or inject humor where it doesn't belong. We all know that statement was nothing more than a desperate attempt to deflect, and it landed as horribly as expected.
Because why? I can't explain away the celestials and how that's going to work on the level Earth. So I'm going to just have to go back to the globe, and um, uh, I guess enough people believe that the downward acceleration is a thing, and I guess if like truth is a democracy, don't you know, right? If more people voted for uh, that kind of way of thinking and belief, who the fuck am I to go against the grain and tell you like what I think about reality? Because if I tell you otherwise, it must be a lie, and there has no other explanation to it, really. I mean, like most people believe in the downward acceleration, whether you call it gravity or incoherent dielectric acceleration or RDD.
Listen closely, 𝐤𝐤𝐿. This isn't complicated. Weight is the downward force, period. There's no need to overcomplicate it with your buzzwords like RDD or incoherent dielectric acceleration. The fundamentals are simple and undeniable. Stop twisting basic principles to fit your agenda.
Basically, that's what 99% of the people in the world, they believe in the same thing. Whether you're a globularist or a flurf, you believe in the same thing.
How dare you claim that globe earthers and flat earthers believe the same thing? You're terrible at this, 𝐤𝐤𝐿. You constantly use flurf as an insult, thinking it adds weight to your argument. It doesn't. It only exposes your desperation, and your obsession with trivialities like flat and level is absurd. Give me a break. You're grasping at straws and looking more pathetic with every word.
Right? So if you are that 1% or less who actually say, hey, you know what? I think there's a very real possibility that the Earth is actually moving upwards, and we have some experimentations to show how that could possibly work. Yet, who gives a fuck about experimentations? Some people say, oh gosh, these people don't even know how to experiment. They do all the little demonstrations, and it's all cute. Oh, you know who I'm talking about here, right?
Not thrive where truth is upheld, but it flourishes in the shadows of ignorance and blind acceptance. To those who still have the clarity to perceive, seize this chance. Look beyond the surface. Understand that the world as presented to you has been carefully constructed, not to inform but to obscure. The reality is there for those who are willing to seek it with courage and an unshakable commitment to truth. Thank you, and goodbye.
Well, thank you. And thank you very much for the content. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Zero. And let's just, go through a couple more comments and then kind of be done with it, because, he is he put a lot of time in for this, and I think he deserves a little bit of limelight.
Once again, 𝐤𝐤𝐿, I don't need any limelight. It didn't take me long at all to throw a few words around and speak into a microphone. Not in the slightest. It didn't hurt me one bit. Your attempts to make this about me seeking attention fall flat. This is about exposing you and others like you. Keep trying, but you're just wasting your time.
So let's take a look at another. This is 13 days ago, nearly 2 weeks ago, right? So this was when I was over at another place in Louisiana. So he started commenting way before I got here, and he says, well, let's clear up some critical misconceptions and outright contradictions in the so-called rising Earth theory. The reality is straightforward. Earth is flat, stationary, and unaffected by any upward motion. So hey, did you guys know the reality is straightforward? Earth is flat, okay? It's not level, it's flat.
Once again, your obsession with words like flat and level is baffling. Yes, Earth is flat. Yes, Earth is level. Yes, Earth has peaks, valleys, oceans, and canyons. We all understand what we're talking about. It's strange that you continue to make such a big deal out of this trivial distinction. Why turn this into an argument when the meaning is clear? You're simply grasping at irrelevant details to avoid facing the bigger truths.
is stationary. I guess that's just a matter of fact that we just better accept this guy. He's got a robot voice, and he makes, he uses big words, so it must be the truth.
I do nothing but speak the truth and expose the lies that plague our world. This is not just for the people of today, but for future generations. There is almost no truth left in our lives as it is, and people like you only make it harder to reclaim what is real. Yes, I speak the truth. I'm not asking anyone to trust me. Why would they? This world has deceived humanity time and time again. Trust is hard to come by in a world so thoroughly manipulated. But I will say this with absolute certainty. I speak the truth, and I want nothing but the best for humanity.
Right? And unaffected by any upward motion. Okay. So it is flat and stationary, unaffected by any upward motion. Yet, this rising Earth idea keeps getting pushed despite its failure to align with basic observable truths. Basic observable truths that Earth is flat and stationary rather than level and upward vector. Objects fall because of their weight. Oh, okay. Well, huh. That's good to know. I had no idea that objects fell because of their weight. A natural downward force. Oh, a natural downward force. Did you not know about this natural downward force? Right. That um, you know that's why they fall. This isn't free fall due to some abstract pull. Okay, it's a straightforward effect of weight. It's just a straightforward effect of weight inherent to objects. All objects have weight. That's why they fall. Dumbass, right? If Earth were, if Earth were actually at rising, objects wouldn't fall in the way we observe. Okay, so if Earth were actually rising, objects wouldn't fall in the way we observe. Okay, how would it fall then? Now I'm curious to know. Like, if the Earth actually were rising, as far as I'm concerned, it is. Then how would the objects fall? Would it fall differently than the way we observe? I mean, apparently he's making a claim that it would fall differently. In fact, they remain suspended. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So if the Earth is rising, and so objects wouldn't fall, they would just be suspended in midair. They wouldn't be, quote unquote, falling on the ground. They would just be suspended, as if in zero gravity. Using terms like free fall just to fit a narrative contradicts the reality we experience. Well, we're learning something new every day, guys. Aren't you glad that we have individuals like Zero to keep the record straight and keep us accountable for the things that we say? Don't forget that I said about the accelerometer: when we drop it on a stationary Earth, it and all its internal components fall together, registering zero acceleration. Well, I mean, that's some people call that special pleading. I mean, accelerometers work in every other freaking direction except for downward direction, and the downward direction, for whatever reason, everything is all falling, quote unquote, together, and that's why no acceleration is registered. Wow, that's really interesting. I mean, how else does an accelerometer usually work? Right? Why does it not work the same way as when it's falling to the ground? Right? But according to you, it decelerates on an upward rising Earth. Fine. So once it hits the floor, it should register acceleration immediately. Why? Why should it? It wasn't registering acceleration at all going down, right? And then what? Once it hits the ground, what should it register if it after it hits the ground, right?
Final words. Listen closely, Nachiketa. You are utterly incapable of comprehending how your own paradigm should function. You don't understand your own arguments, nor do you even believe the lies you're selling to the public. You are nothing more than a hollow shell, a pathetic excuse for someone pretending to seek truth. Mark my words, I'll be watching every move you make. Goodbye.
You and all of the sketchy people you associate with, including all of the known shills that you have hung around, are invoking this nonsense without any proof. Therefore, yes, I am adding you and a few others to the shill list. Distorting this truth only misleads people further, especially when it's done without a shred of verifiable proof. Okay, so there is that, and I'm going to, let's see, get rid of this guy now. See you later. Make another stock account, and take care, everybody. Take care, Mr. Zero.